So thank you, Praveena. Let's move to the first question of the show. What do you think is the current scenario happening in the organization? आपका take क्या है? आपको क्या लगता है कि क्या चल रहा है right now? Over to you, Praveena.
If you ask that feeling among employees, I mean, there are a few people who are really, looking forward to go back to office because we know there are certain challenges of work from home, and there are some for whom this work from home has really worked well. It has been given them that flexibility to manage their professional and personal life better. And also this whole fear of, the pandemic is out right there. This whole fear of stepping out and getting infected. So I would not say that things have come back to normalcy, but organization are managing through this work from home. For few, it has not impacted on the productivity. For few, where it is impacted, I think they are managing by getting some people in office. So asking on this whole work from home and this whole scenario that's happening, I feel that, there's some impact, some emotional impact. The major challenge I would see as isolation, because suddenly, you are just confined into this four walls, you're holed up at your home, you can't step out. And you're only meeting people, or you're seeing people who are in the house, your family. So suddenly this whole isolation feeling of not getting in touch with your co-workers, your colleagues, could impact somewhere, it will definitely have some impact.
All right. So second question, Praveena ji, what do you think people should come back? क्या आपको लगता है कि employees को आना चाहिए? How important is the vaccination? Like if Diksha got vaccinated, should I go out and work from office? What's your take on it? Over to you, Praveena.
See, this whole pandemic is very new to all of us. So we really don't know whether, right now the only solace for us is vaccine, and we need to trust. And we have to get ourselves vaccinated because that's the only thing or savior measure that we can see for now. I would definitely not recommend that once you're vaccinated, just go out and, just say hooray and that's it. So that's not what we are looking for. But we have to still maintain the protocol. And even after vaccination, social distancing, masking, keeping yourself hygiene is very, very important. And as I mentioned earlier also that, it's definitely a mixed feeling. For few, this work from home has created a lot of distractions. People, there is no boundary set. People tend to overwork at times because there is no limit. Honestly, it's like a 24/7 kind of a setup and isolation. So where people are looking forward, and employees will definitely rely heavily on their employers, like how the organization are going to take care on the safety part for their employees. And for few, as I mentioned, it's working well. They are able to manage, their personal, their professional responsibility better. So, it's if you ask me, I would say that as an organization, they have to plan well on something like a hybrid plan where, they give this opportunity for people to opt for their options, whether they have to come back to office, and if they are coming, then what are the things that organization are actually doing for their employees. So so that's my take on this.
Perfect. And आपके आंसर में ही मेरा क्वेश्चन छुपा हुआ था. Last line जो आपने बोला, what are the policies and procedures employers should take in order to bring employees back surakshit to the office? So what are the policy procedures do you think? Over to you, Praveena.
Yeah. So there are a lot of things, as this is something which I think across the world, organizations have have suffered, and right now they're experimenting employees to get back to office. But I think organization must really act now to ensure that when employees are returning back to workplace shouldn't be only productive, but it has to be safe also for their people. So a well-planned written strategy or a layout plan is very, very important today in today's scenario. It's definitely not like how it used to be earlier. So, and employee safety should be paramount for the employers, for the organization, because if they want to get their business back to normal semblance, then without employees, it's not possible at all, right? So safety is definitely something which has to be focused on, and how they can do this. So these are few of my ideas, few points that I would like to highlight is definitely the health and safety part is more important. But apart from that, it's very, very important for the employer to first, or you can say the critical mission should be which role or which functions or which business line should be brought back to office, and which can work or working well at home or remotely should continue. So if everything is working well remotely, there's no impact in the productivity, then I think it's better to let it as it is. But definitely first check with the employees what's their take on this. So whether the employer has to, or the organization needs to take people to work or work to people is something that they have to identify, they have to define. And if they are getting people to office where some of the function, like I know few organize or industry rather, like pharma or healthcare, manufacturing, where it's not possible to have 100% working from home or working remotely. So in such scenario, in today's, and given today's pandemic, I think transformation of the office layout is very, very important. So they have to focus on the layout where they can enable social distancing. They can ensure that the other health guidelines are followed. So that's more critical. They have to ensure you can't. So there was this huge craze where organization used to have this whole big lavish offices, but now even if that is there, we have to ensure that people are not sitting too close. The layout is very, very important. How they are utilizing some of the dead zones and ensuring that they are, creating the spaces between employees. Not only the layout, but also investing more on the sanitization, disinfection, safety, security, masking of the employees. Apart from this, I feel that they have to creatively resize a footprint. Yeah, so it's not that everybody should be coming at the same time in the organization. Definitely they have to focus a lot on the work rescheduling, uh, giving that flexible timing to employees. And also somewhere I feel that they should get into this hybrid mode wherever possible. If someone can work remotely, ensure that they are working remotely, and if few people can come to office, then bring them with full safety. So the resizing of the footprint is very, very important. This will also ensure that the new rules have been created, because with this whole safety guideline, we need someone who can focus on the safety parameters, can work on the policies and procedures around it. We would also, there's a lot of, in case if something goes wrong, then someone need to focus on the contact tracing, and that also needs to be done with confidentiality. So we can expect few new roles coming up with this. Apart from this, the organization needs to focus a lot on a robust change management and a communication plan, because this whole thing needs to be managed very, very sensitively. I mean, that's something that we have to focus as in management or as an organization with the HR support. And what I was saying, that you can't force employee to work. If you are forcing employees, then employees will force out. And that is something that we don't need and we don't want.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Wonderful, Praveena. I love that force. You never should force employees. Let them choose what they really want. But I think,
Exactly.
like you already emphasized on manufacturing and pharma units, where we have a lot of big factories where people cannot work from home and they need to get vaccinated and come back to work. So that's very important. But yes, ghar se kaam karna is a privilege. I would say that. You are very privileged enough, you have a space where you can operate, but not everybody had the space. Not everybody is so privileged enough. So that's also one thing that we look forward and help employees to make sure that when they're working from home, they are having a nice space, and they can work from home pretty well with the great internet connectivity as well. So this is also important, should be looking forward. Perfect. Moving to the next question, Praveena ji, what other technologies will be taking? Say, for example, after pandemic, वैसे तो pandemic रहने वाला है, third wave, fourth wave, it's going to come up, right? But till the time we generate, or we probably come up with herd immunity, till the time, वहां तक हम लोग जब ऑफिस में जाते हैं और हम लोग आप देखते हो कि हम एंटर करते हैं, we'll touch the door knobs, we'll touch the coffee mugs, coffee machine, and lot many touch points. So what are the technologies that you think an organization should get into that, कि वो उसे अपनाए उस टेक्नोलॉजी को और टच पॉइंट्स को मिनिमाइज से जीरो करे? Over to you, Praveena. What's your take on the technology?
So I feel that apart from this whole good change management plan and good communication, a robust technology will definitely take a lead. Yeah, because, and it's not only technology, when I'm talking technology, it will work in both the areas, both the scenarios, where when people are coming to office as well as when they are working remotely. So when people are coming to office, you have to ensure that you avoid the surface touching, like this biometrics, where, so many people are touching that. We cannot have that. And that's something, and we cannot have someone regularly sanitizing that. So I think all this should be taken over by the face recognizing attendance system. And also you have to, if people are working from home, there has to be certain training that has to be given to enhance their effectiveness when they are working remotely. There has to be various technology or apps or system that has to be used to report their progress, like the Monday or Asana. And there are various other technology used, like whiteboards, the work front, where people can get easy access to various resources. And apart from that, touching the coffee mug, I actually know one of the organization where they have asked people to get their own coffee mug to office, and so that you can avoid that whole touch and feel. But I think maybe that's not possible from all. But yeah, I think as I mentioned, new roles where someone is regularly there, sanitizing, cleaning, all this, that will be created. I mean, you'll have those paper marks, or you'll have the coffee marks. When used after that, it needs to be sanitized, because we don't have such a strong technology till now which can get coffee to our table and then the mug is automatically sanitized. But certain things where if we can't do anything, we have to focus more on the personal hygiene part.
Absolutely, Praveena ji, you are very much correct. And two things that I really love about, like in terms of technology, there are a lot of softwares that are helping us, but keeping in mind that employee privacy को मद्देनजर रखना बहुत जरूरी है इस दौरान, ताकि women और किसी का भी harassment ना हो. That's also we need to take care as the organization level. Wonderful said. So
yeah, confidentiality will be very, very, very important. You implement anything, that is something which is much required.
Absolutely. Perfect, Praveena ji.
Yeah. So I definitely, as I mentioned earlier, that, the transformation of office space is required. Few questions that the organization needs to focus is, how will they ensure the company culture if they are focusing on both areas, which is, remote working as well as working in office. So that is something which companies need to focus, organizations need to focus. They have to ensure that when people are working remotely versus people are working in office, how will they manage the employee relations there? How will they ensure the isolation, bit is being taken care of? What are the social programs, or, how will they promote and encourage all this employee relations, especially in the remote environment? Apart from that, I spoke about the new roles. I would still, in my opinion, I still feel that, the whole thing needs to be taken sensitively. And And something, the hybrid working culture is something which employers need to focus. I think the flexibility that you give to employees as an organization is no longer considered as perks today. It is something which triggers trust among your employees, and that really get a far better results overall. And also, a lot of organizations are going forward for this, because this is going to be the game changer in coming, future.
सुपर सो प्रवीणा जी अभी आपने हमें बताया कि हाइब्रिड मॉडल होना चाहिए प्लस एम्प्लॉय एंगेजमेंट पे आपने एम्फसाइज किया सो कैन यू हेल्प मी अंडरस्टैंडिंग सो दैट वी कैन क्विकली गो टू द लास्ट क्वेश्चन बट बिफोर दैट हाउ वी एंश्योर कि हम एंगेजमेंट एम्प्लॉय का रखें जब हम वर्क फ्रॉम होम कर रहे हैं और उसमें कितना डिफरेंस आता है व्हेन वी टॉक्ड अबाउट प्री कोविड तो ऑफिस में काफी प्रोडक्टिविटी होती थी वी हैव लॉट ऑफ collaborations which we miss, right? So what's your take when we talk about employee engagement, especially work from home? Over to you.
See, there are two things. One is, it's not only focusing on employees, but it's also focusing on the leaders. Because sometimes what happens, and this is what, when I speak to few of my colleagues, this is what I come across is, especially in this work from home culture, suddenly leaders have started feeling that, oh, it's where he or she is working from home. So, maybe they are not doing the right work, or they must be not doing what has been required. So, chalo, micromanagement karna padega. And that's how, too much of micromanagement is happening when people are working remotely, which was not the case when people were working in office, because they can see their employees working. So that's a very a cultural shift which leaders need to understand. If this is going to be the future, you need to trust your people, and you have to set certain boundaries for your people. Because see, when you're at home, there's a lot of distraction also. It's not that you're all alone in your home. Yeah, you have your children, your spouse, your parents, your pets, so many things happening around. And us par ye micromanagement plus without any boundaries have created a lot of stress. So agar engagement karna hai, to I'm not specifically talking about the fun activity here, but I think there has to be this cultural change for leaders on how to manage team. They must be great leaders when people are in office, but when they are at home, I mean, they need to set examples. They have to log off on time and stop bothering people post certain time, because right now there's no limit. People are getting called at 10 in the evening, 11 in the evening. There's like no limit at all. And secondly, I feel that this connect which is there, somehow this connect session needs to happen. I mean, it's not that only it is the manager's responsibility, but somehow there has to be a lot of connect session with people, need to understand what's happening to them, and need to drive things that is required for them to work efficiently remotely, which could be your basic furniture also. I mean, getting a comfortable chair for your people, ensuring that employee or their families are vaccinated, ensuring that you drive a vaccine. Today we have seen that a lot of organizations have come forward, and they're driving this whole vaccination stuff for their employees and families. So I think these are all the stuff which really brings that loyalty among people. Because I also know a few companies who are really driving a lot of this singing competition and other competition. Maybe that's also required, but I think the more focus is understanding what they are going through, having that connect session, True. Not from the manager, but as, from the HR point of view.
Absolutely, Praveena. I think आपने काफी अच्छा point बताया where you said like employee engagement कैसे हो सकता है और ऑफिस में तो हमें जरूरत नहीं थी but यहाँ पे करने की काफी ज्यादा जरूरत है because people are feeling lonely, they are feeling detached from the company, the engagement, the community, right? So that's very important. I really love the point that कुछ activity होना चाहिए, but सबसे important जो है क्योंकि activity में किसी का दिल लगे नहीं लगे, जो सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात यहाँ पे वो ये है कि HR is also human. आप अगर एम्प्लॉय हो तो आप अपने मन की बात उनसे शेयर करें, अपनी प्रॉब्लम शेयर करें, so that उनको भी वो भी they are also compassionate people. They understand your problems and they come back and help you with a better solution for yourself. So बिल्कुल वो झिझक ना रखें मन में. बी ओपन, अगर आप कंपनी ओपन है आपसे तो आप भी उतना ही ओपन कल्चर दिखाएं, बिकॉज घर में बैठ के काम करना अत्यंत मुश्किल है बहुत मुश्किल। एब्सोल्युटली। चलिए प्रवीणा जी, लास्ट में चलते हैं। लास्ट बिल्कुल ही अंत आ गया है इस शो का, जो हम नहीं चाहते। आपसे काफी लग रहा है कि और भी गुफ्तगू हो और भी बातें हो, बट टाइम का थोड़ा कॉन्स्टेंट है। लास्ट में चलते हैं प्रवीणा जी, दिल से बताइए सभी दर्शकों के लिए कि यूजुअली ये पूरा 3 महीना हम लोग के लिए काफी मुश्किल भरा है, दुख भरा था, और बहुत लोगों ने बहुत कुछ देखा जो शायद उन्होंने अपने पूरे वो बोलते हैं ना, जो अपना
जिंदगी में नहीं
लाइफ
देख
स्पैन था,
पाओगे।
नहीं देख पाए, राइट। छोटे छोटे बच्चों ने काफी कुछ खोया है। सो उन सभी लोगों के लिए प्रेरणा स्रोत, ऐसा कुछ लाइन, ऐसा कुछ कंटेंट जो आप बोल पाए, मतलब ऐसा कुछ प्रयास आप करें बोलने का, तो काफी लोग उत्साह से भर जाएं और उनको अच्छा लगे। ओवर टू यू प्रवीणा जी, प्लीज गो अहेड।
Yeah, I personally, I mean, yeah, we know. I don't think there is any family जहाँ पे maybe not immediate but distance relative कोई ना कोई तो either infect हो गए हैं या कुछ ना कहीं losses हो गए हैं. We know our friends, we know so many of distant relatives and all. I can only say that keep going, just keep going, because when tough gets going, you just keep going, because this is just a phase and we hope this phase will soon end. Just keep your spirit up high, keep doing good, and keep supporting people where you feel that they can't get support and where you have the capability to help and support. Please go ahead and do that in spite of whatever losses personally anyone has gone through, but still keep up the spirit of helping. In this whole pandemic, I've suddenly seen a lot of people coming up with this whole helping hand, and we see so much good. Maybe some of this are not highlighted, but overall, I see a lot of helping spirit, and I would say that please keep this up, keep supporting each other, keep talking to each other, because that's very, very important in today's time. Please be with your close one and express your love to everyone, because we never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So just be grateful to people around you and keep up the spirit. Just keep going. I'm sure this phase will end soon.
लवली, आई लव द पॉइंट जब आपने बोला कीप गोइंग, डजंट मैटर जो हो रहा है बस चलते रहें। उससे मुझे थोड़ा सा लाइन याद आता है कि रास्ता लंबा जरूर है, नहीं दिख रहा अभी क्या है आपका अंतिम वो जो बोलते हैं ना गोल, बट अगर आप चलेंगे, आप 10 माइल पहुंचेंगे, उधर से आपको और एक्स्ट्रा 10 माइल दिखेगा टू रीच थ्रू द नेक्स्ट लेवल। सो वंडरफुल, जस्ट कीप गोइंग। और आप जैसे लोग, उमदा लोग हैं, बातचीत करिए, नए लोग बनाए, नए लोग को जाने, वो ही सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है, और लोग को जरूर मदद करें अगर आपकी क्षमता हो तो। थैंक यू सो मच प्रवीणा जी, इट वाज वेरी इंसाइटफुल टॉकिंग टू यू, वी लर्न अ लॉट। आई एम रियली ग्रेटफुल टू फॉर योर टाइम, थैंक यू।
Thanks a lot, Diksha. And I would also like to, I would like to take this opportunity to say that you've been so young. You're really doing a great stuff. Being, from this talk show, where you're connecting with people and spreading messages, also through your entrepreneurship and your bold thoughts. I think you are going to make it big. Please continue doing this. Yeah. Even if there are certain blockages, whatever, just don't let your spirit go down. Just keep going.
I have great people like you who make me going every time. मतलब वो जो मुझे ड्राइव करते हैं, फ्यूल, वो आप लोगों की खुशी, आप लोगों का स्माइल, आप लोगों का अपनापन है। थैंक यू सो मच प्रवीणा, लव टू सी योर स्माइल,
Thank you.
स्माइलिंग। जय हिंद, बाय।
Yeah, thanks. Jai Hind, bye.